Hey everyone, welcome to the Amiga Digital Podcast. This is going to be a series that I'm going to be doing where I talk maybe to some of the world's best SEOs, and I wanted to start this series with a very special friend, very special guest, someone who I've appreciated knowing for quite some time since we used to have SEO meetups back in, 2009. James Norquay is one of the best SEOs, if not the best SEO in the country, certainly the face of SEO in the country. He holds conferences. He's been doing SEO, probably one of the few guys that have been doing SEO longer than I have. And I really respect everything he has to say, and I think you should respect everything he has to say. So, James, thank you so much for joining me, my man.
Thank you for the intro, Andrew. Yeah, no, it feels like yesterday we were at those bars in Surrey Hills and down at King Street Wharf and all around there at the old SEO meetups by old Rick Thompson and everyone talking SEO chit chat. That was like what 17 years ago now. Yeah, so yeah, you meet SEOs that are 18 years old and we're like, God, we were at SEO meetups when you were one. Yeah, we've been in the space a while. So yeah, I've been in SEO since about 2006. Yeah, 20 years now. Probably actually longer than that. I think I had a website doing I didn't really know what I was doing back in 2005, so probably like 21 years. So been tinkering with SEO. So yeah, and we've been doing the events now for a long time. We've done over 70 events, 7 conferences. So yeah, it's all happening.
Well, you've been doing SEO since 2005. I was doing SEO in 2007 when my boss was like, play around with these meta keywords. And I'm like, meta keywords? What's these meta keywords? What do we have to write meta keywords? What is this stuff? And yeah, it's an interesting story. Tell me, James, tell me a little bit about what Prosperity Media, you're obviously the founder and CEO of Prosperity Media. What are you guys, what did you find most interesting last year? Obviously we have the AI sort of revolution. What did you find challenging, interesting last year, and what do you sort of see as challenging and interesting this year? I mean, you're Nostradamus. I'm basically calling you out, I guess, man, put you on the spot here. But yeah, I'd love to hear what Prosperity Media has been doing last year and some of the things that you faced and challenged, and yeah, what do you think is coming up?
Yeah, I think last year I think everyone would have seen the rise of like AI search. I think like that's been pretty big. Like every man and his dog is all of a sudden very interested in AI search. So yeah, that's definitely like one big thing that came last year. I think people, especially in Australian market and like US market, I think people are very interested in getting more from their SEO agency. I think gone are the days where like the cookie cutter approach, like 5 low quality mummy blog links and some really sloppy AI content just delivered to people and just one account manager managing 30 or 40 accounts. I think clients have definitely wised up. I think those type of low quality offerings definitely on the way out. I think people definitely want to work with a more senior team. I think that was something that we've seen a lot of it last year. People expecting a higher level of service. I think that's definitely another thing. Yeah, I mean the rise of digital PR. Like I think slowly digital PR is getting bigger in Australia. I mean, it's been big in the UK for like the last 10 years. Australian market has definitely had an obsession with people using these link marketplaces and just people providing low quality links. I think the market has only recently woken up to digital PR. And I know you've been doing some digital PR with your team, Andrew. I've seen some wins that you've been sharing as well. So clients love getting a link on a site they actually know. Like they love it when you get a link on news.com.au or 9 News or a site that your mum and dad have heard of. But if you're getting a link on Sippy Cup Mum that no one knows and it's like a DR whatever, who cares? And it's got zero traffic, and then they're outlinking to online casinos and God knows what else, then it's not a quality site that you really want to be getting for a client. So I think a lot of clients are definitely saying, look, we need more .com.au CCTLD domains. We've looked at our distribution. Can you get us more? I think, yeah, people just want high quality tier one media sites. And the benefit of like tier one digital PR is it's definitely getting picked up by LLMs too. Like LLMs definitely love tier one media. So
Do you want to?
yeah,
Do you want to? Do you want to? Do you want to do? Do you want to? Do you want to break that down for? I mean, maybe your clientele are a little bit more sort of up to date with the lingo there, man. But you're talking very SEO speak. So do you want
yeah.
to break down the tier one, tier, and also with the large language models? Do you find that the Australian PR links work better than the global with ChatGPT or Perplexity, or do you think it's just really comes down to an authority and it doesn't matter necessarily the CCTLDs of that particular, the country specific, the .aus or .nzs? Do you think they play a part in that digital strategy or
I
for getting more visibility in AI?
I think like CCTLD domains like .au domains definitely help with like SEO visibility, which in my eyes should be your number one goal still.
Yeah.
For LLMs, large language models like your chat GPTs and et cetera, they they definitely do utilize a lot of the tier one media.com.au sites. But that being said, some Australian media sites do block LLMs. So that's something to make note of. Some people are not aware that, yeah, some media sites do actually block a lot of the large language models. So yeah, it's case by case basis, but there's many things that you need to be doing to get visibility in like ChatGPT and Perplexity, and it's just one of the levers that you can pull, you know?
Yeah. And I find that like link velocity, man, and sustainability. I mean, I've seen when we've been able to, let's say we got links from Sky News, Yahoo, Daily Mail, and then the clients like pulled back budget for whatever reason, and we had to stop doing digital PR. And then it's like, okay, we might have moved from the fourth page for engagement rings to the second page. And then without that velocity, man, like, I'm basically trying to educate businesses on creating sustainable, I mean, you can call them link magnets, but like they have to be a little bit more 2025, 2026 kind of level and quality, and also relationships with journalists. It's, I mean, the thing is, James, my philosophy is, if I told them this exactly verbatim, if I was to die tomorrow, does your link machine stop? And if the answer is yes, then you have a liability. So, and actually helping them to build to like, there's nothing more. I get more excited when I see a client that's naturally built a mad link from the content that I may have helped them inspire to create. But if they've created it, build a relationship with a journalist, I'm like, hey, you need to know this journalist. She writes about fashion. She's across news. She's across 900, blah, blah, blah. You got to like email her and figure out what she likes to eat for dinner and like know everything you need to know about it, what stories she wants to write about, have that relationship. So when she's creating different stories, they're going to get syndicated. Then you're starting to build a machine.
Yeah, I think like especially for journalists in Australia, some of them are willing to catch up for like coffee and stuff and things like that. Like we have an in-house digital PR team, and yeah, they definitely are willing to do that. But I think you gotta have a bit of a track record. You know, you've already got to get some runs on the board, and they've got to be known that okay, these guys are actually feeding me with some really good stories that I've used for. And they've got good data. You know, if you're just Joe Blogs off the street who's pestering them for a coffee, they might be like, I don't have time for this geezer. But no, you're 100% right. You want to build a relationship. And even at our next conference in March, we've actually got a panel where we've got, I think it's 3 or 4 journalists that are actually in-house journalists at different publications. They're coming down to actually talk about like what we want to hear about, like just what are the best times to contact us, just answering all these type of questions. So they're going to be on a panel, and Chloe from our team's going to be interviewing them. And something like that, I haven't really seen many people doing stuff like that in Australia. I've seen it a little bit in the UK, so I thought It's a good idea. Someone's got to do it.
And I don't see it necessarily. I mean, of course, it's a good link, obviously. But do you feel like those links for results from ChatGPT, I'm not seeing necessarily like a curated list of the best places, just because I happen to work with a lot of jewelers, but the best places to buy an engagement ring in 2020. I'm seeing if it's ChatGPT with an Australian IP address, I still see them trying to pull from Australian assets. But I work with a very sort of specific niche of clients. Is that true for you, or you think that the LLMs, even if the clients are looking for visibility and exposure in the Australian market, that the links from the Sun or dailymail.co.uk, do you think they still pull those lists for searches like, the best of type searches?
I think they've been looking at multiple sources. So they like if there's already like 20 best engagement ring shops in Sydney articles, they'll probably just use those. But if they're trying to source more, it may be pulled in also. I think, I think you definitely want to try to have localized content though, because that's what people want. And yeah, you want to be ranking, especially in the Australian market. You really want localized content. Like depending where your, say for example, jeweler is, they could be in Sydney, they could be in Wollongong, they could be in bloody Byron Bay. So people, if they're going to buy an engagement ring, they probably want to go somewhere relatively local, because if they're going to drop 10K or whatever, 20K on an engagement ring, they're going to actually want to go and inspect it,
Agreed. But
So,
James Allen on big sites like that, they can just flick you engagement rings globally with the right
yeah,
branding, but that's not the average jeweler. So you're right.
yeah. I think it definitely localized content is better. Like even I went to lunch with a client today, and they were talking about how they're really honing in on localized markets. Like certain areas in the eastern suburbs and inner west were very lucrative for them. So they've really doubled down on a strategy for like at a suburb level, just because their type of business is like they're getting so much revenue from these specific suburbs. So yeah, like if you've got a strategy that's highly targeted towards certain suburbs that are doing well for your business, and this company actually has built a pretty sophisticated like analytics thing that kind of shows what their best suburbs are. So they know that, and they're really investing into areas that are doing well. So, and they got multiple assets ranking in suburbs that are doing well, and here you can go hard. Like if it's bringing in a lot of dollars.
I won't mention names because it'll get me in trouble, but like flicking over to technical SEO, you actually put up about accessibility and WordPress and that security fence system, that sort of Cloudflare style like security system blocking US traffic. I mean, that I've seen a lot. Unfortunately, where do you? I mean, I listen to a lot of SEO. Some think that like schema is overrated. Some some believe that like it's all about internal links and creating new content, and some things like as top level domains are like still the be all end all. I can mention tons of names on a technical SEO side. Where do you think do you think schema is overrated? Do you think it should be like back to like where it was before, where you kind of use it sparingly? That's just schema is just an example with AI, just because AI's made it more of a thing. But what sort of, sorry, man, I did not give James these questions like beforehand. So he's just flying on a seat of his pants. Um, yeah, where do you feel like from a technical SEO perspective this year, do you find like having a strong information architecture, the accessibility, usability, URL structures, schemas, and just generally broadly, you can go into specifics if you want. How important do you still think that is in 2026?
So firstly, like accessibility of your site is so important. Like the issue that we saw the other day with the business is someone had blocked the whole US market on WordFence, right? And what
WordFence.
happens is like Google crawls usually from like the California IPs. So they were in a bit of a panic. They're like, why is our SEO tanked? And they had another agency who didn't even like know what was going on. But like the easiest thing you can do is just use a VPN and switch it to like Silicon Valley. And if the site pulls like a 403 error or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
you got a problem. One hidden tool that should be in, well, not really hidden, but one tool that should be in most SEOs arsenal is definitely a VPN, just to test different markets and like pick up on shenanigans like that. Also, Cloudflare, they did some shenanigans last year where they blocked a lot of LLMs on the free plan. So if people were using a free plan of Cloudflare, all of a sudden they automatically just like checkbox yes to like every LLM and blocked them all. But I think on the paid plan they didn't do it. So that was something that we had to warn people about. I mean, is Schema still worth doing? I mean, some people have done a lot of testing around Schema, if it's worth it or not. Like I always like to hear what Kyle Roof has to say. He's someone that I really respect in the SEO space, and he's done some tests to say like different things around that. But like, I think like in some spaces, I definitely feel like Schema does work, especially for CTR. Like if you can get extra CTR and like extra SERP real estate from utilizing Schema, like, and then if you look at your competitors and they all have Schema and you don't, and then like, I think it is worth doing, especially if they have better like visibility or like they're taking up more positioning within the search results. I definitely feel like, yeah, it's worth doing. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of like shenanigans and people having different opinions in SEO. It's like it's never ending, man. Like it's like that's been like that for like the last 20 years, you know?
And it's only going to get worse now with the evolution of AI.
Oh, 100%. Like every man his dog is just complaining about everything, and like people are disputing one thing and someone's disputing this, and like people just doing different tests and they're skewing data, and like people like, I don't know, there's a lot of people not happy with prompt tracking at the moment. There's all sorts of shenanigans. Yeah, man. SEOs they're an interesting bunch, you know, like there's some characters, that's for sure.
And I think a lot of people have seen like, hey, look, there's a wave to ride here. So now we've got all these. We've got, before we've always had those, you know, Johnny come lately types where they come on and they've been on SEO for about a year or two, and one thing they didn't, it worked, and now they're like the best thing since sliced bread. I think now it's just going to be, there's going to be an avalanche of just
100%. Like, I think, yeah, like there's definitely a lot of people that are just coming into the market and trying to sell anything from an AI point of view, you know, like Reddit. There's a lot of people spamming Reddit like crazy and saying that it's like the golden nugget for AI SEO. There's a lot of people that are just, yeah, selling things that are not actually going to be legit. I think the other thing is people can skew results with like prompt tracking and stuff like that to make things look better than what they are. It's hard, man. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot of like OG kind of people that are doing things the right way. So there's like people that are like, they actually care about their clients' results. Like we try to have trackable stuff. Like anyone that's we're doing like AI SEO stuff for, we're all bringing it back to revenue at the end of the day. How much revenue are you generating from like ChatGPT? And like some clients are getting like 50, 60, 70K a month from it.
excellent.
It's enough money to actually say, shit, like this is something that we could actually invest more into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a client sell, I mean, out of all things, a pink diamond, because someone from Dubai flew in to Brisbane and just happened to type in what are the best jewelry stores in Brisbane. The client ranked, and walked in and bought like a 50 to 70K pink diamond ring.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think it's definitely good from an awareness point of view. I think like, you really want to be doing something, because the worst thing you can do is do nothing. You know, with SEO, like if you just leave it, oh, we'll think about that in 2027. If you have that mindset, then that's bad from SEO, you know, really.
But James, there's a lot of rhetoric on LinkedIn. Like everyone thinks they know the secret to like LLM visibility. And so there's a school of thought that, well, great SEO, traditional SEO will still translate to LLM SEO or GEO or whatever other bloody acronym people want to come up with. But like, it's still search, man. It's still
Yeah.
search engine. It's still a search optimization practice. Do you find that Are you in the more of the great traditional SEO is enough, or are you more in the camp of it's not enough, it's good, it's okay, but it's not good enough, it's not going to translate entirely. You need to have a dedicated geo strategy, whatever that is for you. Do you,
Yeah, I think the
without
thing
having
is,
to go into your secrets, obviously?
well, yeah, like I can talk about like a bit. I think like there's definitely a lot of stuff that carries over, but I think there's all these like little areas of difference. Firstly, like prompt tracking, having the right type of prompt tracking, that is something that's a bit different. You know, it's like the formatting of content on pages. Like, is that formatting accessible? Like, is your freaking website accessible for LLMs? Like, you can do a technical like audit from an AI point of view to look into all these factors, you know, because like some people are like, we're not showing up on AI search at all. It's like, yeah, because your freaking site's blocked at the moment. So there's a lot of stuff like that, you know. LLM.info, I feel like those definitely work, the LLM info pages. Like we have some clients that are getting the LLM info pages picked up, and they're seeing good results off the back of it. I've tested things like LLM sharing buttons, like share to ChatGPT, share to Perplexity. We've seen some uplift off that over the last year. There's
The
like
one,
query fan out keyword research patterns that you can do. There's a whole, like all these little strategies that kind of you can piece together into a bit of a plan. And the thing is, I think you do need to like kind of price this stuff slightly different because there's a whole bunch of extra work. The other
yeah,
thing is digital PR definitely feeds into it as well. Like
yeah.
I think you need to be doing some sort of digital PR to help with LLM visibility. I think smart operators are definitely moving into that area too.
Mm.
Because yeah, digital PR can definitely feed the LLMs, especially if you're getting a lot of coverage. So we are looking at LLM like visibility for like the digital PR assets that we do. So yeah, there's heaps of stuff you can do. Like I'm just listing a few. Like, but
Well,
yeah,
love to see your LM info pages, because they can be designed in so many ways. Man, they're really, is that more for your discoverability?
yeah, it's more so like if you, it's like a good thing that can help you if you say, for example, someone's put out some misinformation about your business, like, and they won't take it down, you know, like they could say Andrew Glyntzos is, he's a plumber, you know, he's not an SEO, and then they put out misinformation. So you have to put out correct information or fix misinformation. Because one of the worst things that happens with these LLMs is like people have old, outdated information, you know, like who is the CEO of Glyntzos Jewelry, you know, and if it's the wrong CEO listed, it doesn't have Andrew Glyntzos, it has Mickey Mouse, you know, people will start to think, is this business legitimate or not? You
So
know, so
it's actually like, because what I'm starting doing is training LMs as well.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can definitely do that.
I love training them. So I got one client's like fed us like 6,000, 7,000. I think actually we're probably close to 20,000 words now. We've fed, we start like training it, and actually from our client's website running direct link to the model, so a client can basically go, I want this ring, this ring, this ring with these attributes, and it just kind of just at the end renders like a product. Click inquire, and it can send that image to that email address. So that's training LLMs is something that I'm really playing around with. But LLMs info pages probably could do with some more work and some more area of study. So
Yeah, there's so many like little things like that. I definitely think it's worth testing. I'm happy to share some examples with you after this call, Andrew. But yeah, it's yeah, you should definitely get a ticket. Sydney SEO conference. Like we got some big names like Kevin Indig, Alita Solis, who else? We got Dejan Mladinovsky is going to be on a panel. We've got yeah, he's always got something good to say. Regan McGregor is going to be on that panel too. We've got Destiny. She's the head of SEO at I think Princess Polly. Maybe she's a pretty switched on e-commerce marketer. Brody Clark, he's coming down
yeah,
to speak too. So yeah,
yeah.
there's a bunch
There's a
of
big names issue, mate. This is your biggest panel, mate. This would be your certainly your.
It's definitely a big lineup this year. Like we got some heavy hitters, and we actually just launched a free event. We partnered up with Elite Solis to do a free event with the SEO FOMO and the Sydney SEO Collective. So we're helping sponsor that. So if anyone doesn't want to pay the 300 and whatever dollars it is to get a ticket, you can come to the free event, which is going to be on the Wednesday night. So that's from 6 to 10. There's like free drinks, food. There's like 10 people on 2 different panels, so 5 on each panel.
I'll put a link in the description where you can buy your tickets.
Yeah,
Anyway,
thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. But yeah, if you're in Sydney or you can willing to come up to Sydney, well, it's on March
20th. So
March
Friday,
20th?
March 20th. Yeah.
Friday, March 20th in Sydney, and I'll put a link in the description. If you can get here March 20th, it's a lineup you're not going to want to miss. And what I love about it, James, is the networking afterwards, or just talking, just having, you know what, man, just being in a room with other SEOs and talking about SEO is just valuable in of itself.
The networking's the best part because that's what fires people up, you know. And sometimes after a few drinks, like some SEOs get loose lips and they start dropping some juicy strategies that they're utilizing and working, you know. But some people, it just takes a couple of drinks or just a bit of a networking vibe and they start chirping away. And there's always some characters that roll into the networking drinks at the events. Like you've been to the last few, Andrew. You always love the networking drinks.
And I don't drink alcohol, but the funny thing is, I'm just there to be tactical, mate. So to let the market get a little bit loose and then see if I can pick people's brains. I mean, 20 years in the game, yeah, and I still love like picking brains. Even SEOs are like 2 or 3 years experience. If there's something to learn, I'll listen. All right, James. Well, just like closing up, where do you see? This is probably a tough question, but like, where do you see SEO? Like, I don't believe SEO. It's not an SEO's dead question. I just don't want to pay lip service to that nonsense. But like, where do you kind of see this year panning out for traditional SEO? I mean, like there's little things where I'll test on Amiga Digital. It's still like we might rank 5th, and we'll just like change the date, add a little bit of content, and that article from 5th goes to 2nd. There's still some things Google says don't work that do, and I'll test it. So if I see if I change the date, add some schema, that's it. Don't do nothing else. But then that article goes up 3 spaces. Then on my clients, I'm just going to actually build our new content asset. So there's definitely things that Google says that don't work that do, and then like building out like these little content formatted articles to then drive more internal links back to these pages, and that alone can sometimes bump up your key service or your money pages. So little tactics like that, they work, but the problem is, and I still love them because I love using Amiga Digital, but they're like a lot of, I find that like a lot of SEO strategies sometimes are hard to maintain and sustain for the longer term. Like if I look at successful sites like the bigger brands, there's not some little SEO they're trying to tinker with every nut and bolt. So for 2026, where do you see sort of the areas of investment that any business owner or even other SEO team should prioritize, like a top 2 or 3 that, without getting into like all the technical nitty-gritty strategies, but like what would be like 2 or 3 like key non-negotiables that you should be working on every month? I know that, yeah, sorry, and I'll close out with that.
I think like the biggest 3, like it's hard to say just 3 things. I think like technical SEO is still very important. Like even with the rise of AI search, like getting your technical foundations right. So many people just don't get the foundations right, like broken links on site, just like basic hygiene errors, like we could talk all day about all the technical shenanigans that you've seen in your career and our career, Andrew. But that's definitely a big one, getting your technical foundations right. There's still going to be a lot of people that search for like tech SEO help, and they're going to need tech SEO help.
Bigger the site, bigger the problems.
Yeah, like I still think like quality content and, like you said, updating content is still important. Like that's like a lot of people make the mistake where they just go out and pump out so much new content, but then they neglect content that is already indexed and it's like dropping off, but it's driven a lot of revenue in the past, The page hasn't been updated for like 4 years or something. Like that's it. that's an easy win on itself.
Sorry to cut you off, James, but like I think it was David Quay. So like, if you've got a piece of content that's been crawled and not indexed, and it just refuses to get indexed, sometimes deleting that content, changing the URL, redirecting that, and then that can. It's everything else is the same, right? And it's like retraining Google's index for increased indexing. Sorry, man. I've tested that. That's worked.
100%. Like, yeah, like testing different things like that can definitely work. I think like search everywhere optimization is going to be bigger. You know, like they're going to want to be more visible on YouTube. People are going to start thinking about TikTok SEO, like just foundational SEO, bloody, just everything, like just getting content everywhere optimized that is brand owned. Things like digital PR are definitely going to grow because people are wising up to all the low quality links, you know? And I think just working with more senior talent, you know, people should be working with people like yourself, Andrew, that have been in the game for a long time, you know, because the thing is, when you deal with someone like Andrew Glyntzos, like you've been in the game for so long, you've seen these problems, you know, like all the weird little inconsistencies, you know about some like little technical SEO issue that isn't publicized, you know, when someone unfortunately is very new in the space and they've only got 6 or 12 months experience, they're not going to have that level of knowledge that like a experienced operator has, you know, someone that's in the weeds and been testing stuff for 20 years. Sure, they can go to ChatGPT and try to find answers for stuff and search around on forums, but sometimes this stuff isn't online, you know, sometimes these more complex issues, there's not information about them online. You know, even in these private Slack groups and like stuff like that I'm on, some like real complex stuff is just it's not common knowledge, you know? So I think that's a big one too.
I definitely think that is, man, 100%. And I still think driving brand awareness for your company name into the SEO and driving brand awareness for your domain, I think can improve your own branding traffic.
100%. Yeah. Like optimizing all that type of stuff is definitely going to be important.
I mean, entity SEO is not talked about enough, and I think it's everywhere, man. And I think that these touch points, if you talk to, there was like I watched a seminar with an old former Google engineer on YouTube, and he's like, Google was built based upon entity SEO. Like, so PageRank and all these touch points was our first sort of main data sets to understanding a business's footprint. And without, like, it's still being, like, do you remember when I put up that little controversial post about how to buy into DAs and DRs and all this other nonsense, right? That I'm a PageRank guy, right? So obviously PageRank doesn't look like what it looks like in 2008 than it does in 2026, but the model is there, and it's still a very link orientated system with the evolution of user-based metrics like the brand awareness and the AI stuff and how long is like, but man, it's still got to work with the entity level connections or relationships.
100%. Yeah. And like the thing is, even with PageRank, like it's funny when you still get an email, someone's like trying to sell something like a domain and they'll say, has Demos link high PageRank. It's like, dude, PageRank hasn't been updated. They don't even use that. And I don't even, God knows how long, but you're right. Like you came from a different time and, I 100% agree with what you're saying, Andrew. It's all important.
I think you mentioned at one time that traffic, like, let's look at, I've seen sites that have high DAs of 80 with zero traffic.
100%. Yeah. And that's like a quality issue. Like if a site has zero organic traffic, usually it's a sign something's gone wrong with the site. Like Google's decimated the site. Even if the sites have traffic, sometimes they're fake traffic, you know, error codes, net worth keywords, things like that. So yeah, you definitely gotta do your investigations and your background checks because yeah, getting the wrong type of links can be harmful.
James, man, I never feel like these conversations ever go long enough, and they never go deep enough, and they never go into like. I just think when we're sitting down having like when we're at your networking events and we're talking smack, those are the conversations that truly should be recorded.
100%. You should we'll have to get a video guy there with you, Evan Cristani, even Forzan, just talking SEO smack. Just like, it's like a round table discussion at the networking drinks. The only problem is the networking drinks this year is back at that Bungalow 8. So it is a bit noisy there, but there'll still be people talking. Like earlier on, it's good for chit chat there, but later it does get a bit louder. But yeah, we're expecting some decent turnout down there.
And you have to get to Sydney, and you have to get to James's event. I mean, this year, if not else, like honestly, man, I haven't been this impressed with your SEO conference this year. Like this year, you blew me away with who you got speaking. I did like last year with that. What's his name? The dude with the bald head like me. I can't believe I forgot his name. The American dude.
Kyle Roof?
No, doesn't matter.
We've had a lot of, we bring a lot of people out from America. Shane Dukto?
No. He was talking about about how expertise should be built in content SEO and like the whole EAT principle that he was going into that.
Cyrus Shepherd. Yeah.
Was my favorite. I like literally every word. I was like hanging on to I like the international SEOs. But yeah, James, like if you're an SEO in Australia, you have to come down to this event. We'll put a link in the description. Anyone will be there, and you can come and meet myself and James and
100%. And like it's good, and all profits are getting donated to the Chris O'Brien Lifehouse Cancer Hospital this year. So
beautiful, man.
We're not taking any profits from the event, and it's a good way for networking. Like if you want to meet people in the space, there'll be like business owners there. Like it's just there's a lot of knowledge too.
You really put in a lot of effort for the SEO community, and you and your team, but it all started with you, right? So your team's backing off on you, and I think the whole entire SEO community should thank you for putting up these events because we all benefit.
Oh man, like honestly, like if you're young in the space and you want to learn, like even if you're an established 20-year veteran like yourself, Andrew, there's still little tactics that you can pick up, and it's not just during the talks, the little tactics that you'll pick up. It's at the networking drinks too, There's always like great people that turn up, and they're all friendly. It's good for the community. Like it's a lot of work, you're right. Like even just getting these big names to come down, they don't just turn up. You're like, it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of back and forth to convince people to come to Australia out of their schedule because it's not close. So
no.
Yeah, but hopefully everyone can come down. Tickets are selling quick, so get your ticket, and it'll be a good time.
Thanks a lot, James. If anyone's got any questions, please let us know in the comment section below, and you can reach James at prosperitymedia.com.au, and we'll also link to James's LinkedIn profile as well. So make sure you give him a follow and subscribe to the YouTube as well. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Thank you.